Okay guys, it is time to get ready for March, so stick around for our March 2020 budget setup. So let's get started with our income. So first of all, you'll see here that I black out the details of our salaries here, but I do include the information so we can see the totals. And you can see that we have $9,271 planned to come in March. Now the way that we do this is that we take our gross pay minus federal, state, Social Security, and Medicare taxes. And that's what this number represents. So no other deductions from our paychecks have come out of this yet. This is truly our take-home pay. I account for all of the deductions elsewhere in the budget. Moving into giving, you can see here we don't have anything planned. In housing, we have $1,054 planned for the mortgage, $165 for the gas and electric utilities. We will have $0 for the water, garbage, sewer because that's quarterly, and we just paid that in February. Mobile services will be $178, and the internet will be $101. And that brings our total for housing to $1,499. In transportation, right now, we have plans for $350 for gas and $21 for OnStar. We will have repairs for the Lucerne, but I don't have those numbers yet. That will all be handled by our sinking fund, so it's okay that I'm not reflecting it here. Once I have those, which I expect will be after this video is posted, but before the end of the month, I'll be able to get that number in here. We don't have any other things that we expect for transportation, so that brings that total to $371. In the food category, we are planning on $450 for groceries and $100 for dining. So that'll bring the total to $550. And then in the Henry category, we won't have any school fees. As far as all the standard school fees are paid for, I'm expecting some things. He's going to graduate in May, so we're expecting that there will be some other things coming up, year-end things for seniors, although I feel like we've paid a lot of that. You just never know. So we're not planning on anything. We have a sinking fund if we get anything. We definitely need to put some more money in his food service account, so I'm going to put $100 in there, and that might almost take us, with what he currently has in there, that might almost take us to the end of the year. I might have to put a little bit more in there, but unlike previous years, I actually need to plan for this because I can't have an overage. I don't want to be messing around with trying to get a refund and things like that. So anyhow, so we're going to put $100 into his food service account, and so our total for Henry will be $100. In pets, we will have a $15 grooming appointment for our long-haired cat. We shouldn't have anything for food since we just bought that in February. I don't expect to have anything for meds again until April, if at all. But I am going to leave this $200 for the vet because I thought we were going to be doing a follow-up in February, and that has not been done because I have been gone almost the entire month at my parents' helping to care for my dad. And so that's getting moved. That appointment is going to get moved to March. So that'll be follow-up testing for our dog, and I talked about that in our, I think it was the February budget setup. I think that was the video that I talked about it in. So she's going to have some more testing to see if the meds are working. So that brings our total for pets to $215. For insurance, there isn't really anything exciting happening here. This is our standard payments that we do. So all of these down to here, all of these come out of our paychecks. They are deductions that are coming out either pre-tax or post-tax out of our paychecks. I think these three are pre-tax. These are all post-tax. And then these other things are bills that we pay every month. They're just deductions that are taken out of our checking account. So our total for insurance for the month will be $761. In entertainment, we'll have $20 for streaming, $3 for our ink service, and $9 for our movie club. And then we always plan on $50 for family entertainment. We don't always spend the $50, but we always plan for it so that if something comes up, we have it there. So our total then will be $82 for entertainment. In health, we will plan on $325 for flexible spending, and then $35 for the gym, and then I'm going to do $100 for healthcare instead of $150. And we shouldn't have anything for prescriptions, and so that brings our total to $460. Okay, so the next two categories kind of complement one another, and so what I do for those extras is really kind of the catch-all for anything that does not fall into any other budget category that I have in our worksheet. And the crap I forgot about that is that's a category that I set up during the about 3 or 4 or 5 months into doing budgeting, because I kept having things popping up that I didn't remember came along, like quarterly or annual type things that were popping up that were expenses. And I would say to myself, crap, I forgot about that one. So that's how this category came to be. But they really are related. So what I do is, this really is kind of not even, I hardly ever use it anymore because I have this spreadsheet. So let's just take a look here. Okay, so this is my annual expenses spreadsheet, and what you're seeing here is something that I've been working on building for like a year and a half now. So we have a category for each line item, we have a type, and then a description, and then the estimated expense. So what we need to do here is, what you're seeing here, I have this all the way out here to December. I know you can't see it all, but what you're seeing is that I am marking which months these things hit with these X's. So that way I have an idea, and there's quite a few on here. There's almost 60, I think. Yeah, there's 64 line items on here. So, oops, sorry, that's scrolling the wrong way. My mouse is not cooperating. So here we have, what I need to do is filter for March. I only want to see the things that have an X in them. So let's do that. And so here you can see there are 3 things that are coming up. And actually, I have not been using Undebit, so I'm going to go ahead and plan for it, but I don't know if I'm actually going to renew it. I haven't used it for at least 6 months, if not longer. So I may not renew this one for $12. And then the Screencast-O-Matic, which is the software that I use to record this video so that you can see my screen, that is $18 per year. And then TubeBuddy is coming up, and because I now have 1,000 subscribers, I think that my amount is going to go up. I used to get a 50% discount. So I'm not exactly sure what the cost is going to be, but this is twice as much as what I was paying before. So I'm expecting it to be that much at least. So those will all come out in March, and when I add these up, it comes to $116.40. So let's move back over to the budget and take a look here. And those are all things that actually hit in the budget bounce. Let me go back over here so you can see it. These are all things that are for the budget bounce. They are all about the channel, and so they aren't actually going to fall into the extras or the crap I forgot about that category. They're going to fall into the budget bounce. So when we get to that section, that's where I'm going to add that money into. So moving on to envelopes, you can see here that we have $40 budgeted for spending for me. I'm going to change this to $80 for Matt, and that's because he has picked up his side hustle again, which takes a little bit of outgo to get the incoming going, and that is because he's doing reselling, and so he needs to get a little bit of traction under him to do that. So for the next month or two, we're going to give him an extra $40 so that he can do some, like shopping at Goodwill and whatnot. So then next up is household for $75, and then miscellaneous will leave at $40, and that puts our total envelopes at $235. And these are electronic envelopes. We will pull out cash for our spending. Matt does in particular, but everything else is pretty much electronic. All right, moving on to the budget bounce. I don't have anything planned for education or equipment, but all of those things that we saw on the annual expenses spreadsheet, all of these are subscriptions. So again, the total here is $116.40. And so if I go back over to the budget, and I'm also going to open up the calculator so you can see it. So $116.40 plus the normal $11.98, which is the $1.99 storage on my Google Drive, and then $9.99 for Adobe Spark. So that brings that total to $128.38. So that's what I'm going to plan on in March for the budget bounce. Next up is our savings, and what we have here is we're planning on $50 for our emergency fund, $30 for, $70 for the kids. You can see the breakdown here into these accounts, and then Matt and my retirement. So these are deductions that come out of our paychecks that are reflected here. So that brings our total savings to $441 for the month. All right, moving into our sinking funds. Let's see here. We have, I can't get them all into the screenshot here. I can scoot down a little bit here, but I still can't get them all in. Here's what we are planning on for for sinking funds, $275 for auto insurance, $40 for registrations. Actually, that's $39. It's not $40. It's $13 per vehicle per month. $30 for business travel, $80 for city utilities, $40 for clothing, $25 for estate planning, and I think it's been a couple months since I've talked about what this is. Matt and I want to have our wills drawn up and things like that. We've never done that, and so we want to do wills and power of attorney and that kind of, that whole package. So we're going to have that done, and it's going to cost about $900. So we've been saving up for that for a couple of years, just $25 a month. And then gifts, we're going to do $40. Henry School, we do $250 every month, but remember I spent $100 up top for his food service account. So we're only going to put $150 into the sinking fund. We'll do $60 for holidays, $50 for image and cosmetics, $81 for our life insurance, or for my life insurance plan. $25 into the healthcare. This is just some extra cushion for any months that we might have some larger bills than the $100 that I plan. $50 for one check ahead. $80 for online subscriptions. Pet expense, I don't remember how much we had. I think it was $215 up above. So we're not going to put anything in here. We plan on $150 each month, and I'm already going to be spending more than that with just the vet visits, so we're not going to put anything into the account. And then technology is $25. This account is for any of our tech if it needs to be repaired or replaced. We're just trying to build up a little bit of a cushion for that because it's just inevitable. So for travel, it's $340, and about 80 to 90% of that is used for FinCon, for the budget bounce. But also, we have things that we do. We just went and visited my sister and her family a couple of weeks ago. And then, we're going to go and watch my brother-in-law graduate from seminary. He went to grad school and finished up in December, and he's going to walk in May. So that's going to be up in Minneapolis. And so that's a drive and a hotel stay and all that good stuff. So things like that pop up. And so we're saving up for those as well. Vacation, we're going to do $150, and this is for a vacation for Matt and Henry for the summer. They have a trip planned that we're saving up for. Vehicles, I'm going to put in $400, and then we'll see where we land at the end. That might be a little bit more or a little bit less. And then for wedding anniversary, we're going to do $15, which is what our standard is every month. So that brings total sinking funds to $1,955. And I do know that we will end up, I'm going to go back up to pet expense, because we're going to end up using $100 of the current, what's out there to help offset the vet expenses that we're going to have. All right, now moving into debt, which is our final category, but it's our biggest category. For this, I have this broken into 3 subsections. I'm sorry for all that popping up at the bottom. This top section is the debts that we have paid off so far. And I think there are 18 or 19 here of them. But anyhow, we've paid off $25,434 in full so far. So that's what this is. And then we have another section that is called charged off. And these are all old debts that have been charged off that we are not currently paying on. These are the balances on them over here, but we are not currently paying on them. And that was at Matt's request. So let me also point out that the pink font is anything that has my name on it. And the black font is anything that has only Matt's name on it. The pink might have both me and Matt on it, but the black only has Matt on it. We're doing it this way instead of doing a traditional snowball like Dave Ramsey encourages everyone to do. We started out paying smallest to largest with some of these really small ones over here, but then when it came down to it, Matt really wanted us to focus on things that had my name on them. So that's what we've been doing. You can see we've paid off both things with mine and things with his. But these are all old debts of his that we have put on the back burner for now. We will tackle them later and deal with them when we get past some of these other things. So now let's look at the actively paying section here. We have a total of 190. Oh, and I forgot to talk about the total up here. The total charged off is $9,547 for Matt. And then our total actively paying is $191,660. So what we have here is Medic EMS will pay $20. Care credit will be $50. My Capital One card will be $25. My 401k loan will be $154. Matt's private student loan will be $57. My Lowe's card will be $190. Our Visa will be $400. The car payment will be $550. The child support will be $725, family loan will be $200, and student loans will be $225. So that brings our total debt to $2,596. And so that brings our total expenses to $9,396 when our income is only $9,371. So you'll see here we've got a deficit. And since we do a zero-based budget, we want to give every single dollar a name, but we also don't want to overspend. I need to make an adjustment in the vehicle fund. So I'm going to go up here. And that total comes to $374.59. And that should bring our balance to zero here. So I disregard in budget setup, I disregard all of these columns over here because honestly, they mean nothing. For setting up the budget, they mean nothing. Unless I am shooting for a goal that I'm trying to keep track of, but I don't, like for a sinking fund or something, I'm not paying attention to anything over here. And that is because of the fact that really the focus is, what is our plan? And column C is what our plan is. It is, I mean, that's what it's called, I think. Oh, budgeted. We call it budgeted in this column. But it's what we plan on spending. And here's the thing. The important thing about this format for us is that it's extremely important for us to give every dollar a name before we actually get it in our hands. Because if we don't do that, we have a really bad habit of letting our money just slip through our fingers. And it just does whatever it wants. Now, I know that sounds corny, but honestly, we are that bad with money. We're a lot better than we used to be, but that's how tough things are for us. We just let things slide right through. If it doesn't have a job, then it just goes and does whatever it wants. Because if we're not paying attention, that's what happens. It gets away from us. And that's 9 years of that is what got us to a $252,000 mountain of debt. So we are working obviously to control our money and make it work for us. And so here we are giving our money a name before we ever get any of it. Now, one of the other things, the reason why I scrolled back up to the top that I wanted you to see is you can see here now sinking funds, which was zero earlier, has populated with $100, and that is because you can see this formula up here. That is actually grabbing from the sinking funds section. So it's now increased our total income to $9,371. So let me just scroll back down here. If we look at pet expense, I put $100 in there, which made this total $100. This is what we plan on spending. Okay. The plan is to spend $100 from our sinking fund, so we have to pull it out of the sinking fund, deposit it into our checking account so it becomes income for the month. And so G122, that is this cell. That's what that formula was. It pulls this number right in there. That's how we get down here to $9,371 for our total income, $9,371 for our total expenses. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about paying down student loan debt. And I'm going to be doing that with Marissa Lyda right here in this video. So click on that and I will meet you over there so you can learn all about her story and her suggestions about how best to get out of your student loan debt as quickly as possible. That's all I've got for you today. Until next time.